to the Business and Bubbly podcast. This is the place for women in business who are on the journey of building their big ideas and want to have fun along the way. It's for those of us who also know we aren't meant to do business or life alone. Hi, I'm Charity Majors, your host and the founder of Business and Bubbly. Think of this kind of like the can I pick your brain chats that you've always wanted to have with those who are doing epic things, plus business besties, hype girls, and getting into massive action towards your next big idea all in the same place. Oh, and bubbles, because if you're not having fun along the way, you're not doing it right. Together, we'll unlock what it means to be seen, known, heard, and championed all along the ups and downs of entrepreneurship and being a woman in business building big dreams. Each week, I'll bring you a quick sip business tip, as well as interviews from top experts that make you feel like you're getting bottle service for your business. We're having the raw and real conversations and chatting about all the things, the messy middle, the pivots, scaling, the good days and the bad days, because here we do real. It's where we can work hard, play hard, cry it out, and dance it out all at the same time without being judged. This is a place where we are in the arena together and we are each other's biggest fans because most of us have enough comments from the cheap seats. It's where our too much is par for the course and where the gaps of our not enough are filled in by the other epic women that are around us. It's where we can be unapologetic about the mission we are on, about the big dreams on our heart, and the business we are building without having to be perfect or have it all together, or even pretend to. It's a supportive community where business is being done amongst like-minded women, because when money gets in the hands of good women, great things happen. It's a place where you have the support around you to get out of your comfort zone and go after your big ideas, because even when you fail forward or when you reach the top, you know it won't be alone. Also, if you know anything about me, you'll know that I'm obsessed with creating platforms that lift up other women to be seen and heard and known. So with that in mind, I'd like to invite you to list your business on our directory called Find Women in Business. All you've got to do is text the word directory to 833-231-8098, and I'll text you the link back to get your free listing. This is also a great way to connect with other women in business from around the world, so definitely check it out. And now let's get to the good stuff. Grab a glass of your favorite beverage, Prosecco, bubbly water, or whatever your flavor is, and let's dive in. Are you with me? Here we go. Hello, friend. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Charity Majors, and I am so excited that we are officially kicking off the Business and Bubbly podcast. Whoop, whoop. Give me a little virtual high five. If you are here for the very first time, you are one of our OGs, and we are going to have some fun on this show, as well as give you the clarity, the confidence, the strategy, the kick in the butt to go after your big ideas. And we are going to have fun all along the way. Now, for this very first episode, I actually just kind of wanted to give you a little bit of background about Business and Bubbly, a little bit about myself, as well as a couple tips that can maybe inspire you or get you into action around your next big idea and how to know that it's the right one. So for me, I've actually been an entrepreneur for, going on 15 years. And let me tell you, it has been quite the journey. After graduating from college, I ended up working in a couple corporate settings and building different wellness programs for big insurances and big universities, and building programs for other different like box gyms and staffing and hiring and training and equipping all these different staff people. And kind of eventually hit like the top of my pay scale as far as what I was available to do, like even just hour wise, like what I could do in my human capacity and what I was getting paid. And so I kind of went on this journey of saying, okay, well, what would it look like if I like really owned my time or really like took responsibility and started my own business. And so I kind of jumped out, not really knowing anything about what it looked like to be a business owner. I knew what it was like to be a good manager, a good trainer, a good facilitator, good hiring people and all this different stuff. But I didn't know what it meant to be in business, to be a woman in business, and to really dive into marketing and growing and scaling and figuring out what offers were and how do I build programs and what the heck do I do with a website and what's copywriting and all this different stuff. And so the messy middle of my journey has led me into a lot of different learning areas, a lot of different ways of learning, probably mostly what not to do, which has also given me clarity on knowing what to do. And so throughout my journey, being then an entrepreneur, like I said, I learned what it looked like to dive in head first, like to cannonball into the deep end of the pool of being a woman in business, and kind of took a few different routes as far as I became a personal trainer and rented space at a fitness studio, and then ended up starting my own brick and mortar wellness studio and having other personal trainers and Pilates and massage therapists in my facility, and really growing that to actually being one of the top businesses. I was an award-winning business here in where I live in Idaho. And it was really interesting because what I actually found out was I would have these really great trainers that would come into my space, and I would help them build their business, build their brands, help them build up their following on social media and build their clientele, pack them full with their books. And then I literally had, I think it was 5 or 6 trainers leave and go start their own businesses, which is great. And it was frustrating all at the same time, just because there was a lot of turnover. They loved it, but because they had such full books, they were just like, oh, well, I can do this on my own because you taught me how to do it so great. And so I eventually ended up selling that business, also for a big reason, because my husband and I, we wanted to have babies, and what I was doing and to be able to be a mom and to kind of burn the candle at both ends of running this wellness facility was was not sustainable. So a lot of that was I learned what not to do, or also how much faster I actually needed to hire people and to outsource different things. And I kind of pivoted into this space of being online. I knew I wanted to continue to build some different things as my husband and I started family. And I knew I really wanted to be not only a mom, and I also had these big dreams on my heart, this message on my heart, and knew that I loved helping people. And I also wanted to have more conversations besides just like poopy diapers and ABCs. So I dove into the online marketing space and began to really build a personal business and personal brand. I became an author. I actually have another podcast called Meant for More, and went through the process of creating and launching multiple, like dozens of different ideas, and failing forward in the space of what it looks like to be an entrepreneur. I figured out what it looks like to have a completely failed launch, also to have a launch that was amazing. I learned what it looked like to run Facebook ads and to, spend 6 figures and to gain 6 figures and, to build websites, and then to finally outsource the people that get things done for me instead of me always having to do it myself. And it was just kind of this journey of really learning along the way of what to do, what not to do, as well as figure out the signs of what it looks like when, oh, okay, like this is the thing, like this is the one that's going to take off, compared to being able to let go of the thing where, and trust me when I say that I have a lot of things that I've launched, I'm like, this is not the thing. Like, it's not taking off. The market is giving me feedback as to saying they do not want this. And so what's really interesting is that is actually where a couple of things that I'm up to. So like I said, I have another podcast called Meant for More. I actually have transitioned into really being a speaker and facilitator, and really helping women get in the room and to really not only create the connections they need, but Meant for More is really, it's a more faith-based, and it is really personal growth and identity based. And then along also came Business and Bubbly. And for me, I'm sure that you've heard this too, but it was always like, focus on one thing, like focus in on one thing and take that to 6 or 7 figures and then expand. And for me, just the way that I am created, and the way that I'm made, and what lights me up. And when I kind of get these hits of inspiration, for me, I needed places to express me as a woman and in business and being multifaceted. And so if you go listen to the Meant for More podcast, you'll hear a lot more faith-based of who I am in that aspect of things. And then if you're here on the Business Bubbly podcast, you'll obviously hear the facet of me, the side of me that is very strategic, that loves business, that loves being around other women in business and really having those deep conversations, those strategic conversations, those ways to level up, to outsource, to scale. Like, give me all the strategy, give me all the things about funnels and all the marketing things that you could ever think about. Like, that's a whole nother facet of who I am. If you want to talk mom stuff, we can totally talk mom stuff, and in other conversations. But here, we are going to talk about business, and we are going to talk about having fun along the way. Cause I know that sometimes it can be frustrating, and we can have those wall kicking moments, and we can have those times. I know for me, it was like, I'm so frustrated. I feel like I'm throwing spaghetti up against the wall and nothing is working, and I'm going to just quit, and I'm just going to not ever even do this thing again. And then the next day, or maybe the next week after we're done with our period and we have a glass of champagne, we get up and we do it again. And we fail forward, and we find the things that work, and we find the things that don't work, and we begin to really fine tune our craft and fine tune our offers and fine tune our audience. And now all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay, things are working and it doesn't seem as hard. And okay, like I'm staying in my zone of genius, and I'm able to really hire out or bring in people that can help me with these other things. And for me, I've just, like I said, I've started to figure it out along the way with the help of coaches and mentors and masterminds, and even just starting to understand, like I mentioned before, what it looks like to actually like have the thing that has taken, what do I like to say? Like my different superpowers and what women want, what the market is telling me, what they want, and it's going off like crazy. So what actually happened was I was doing different retreats like during COVID. I actually ended up, when I had been building I had an online challenge called Unshakable Confidence, and had launched my book and a few other things, and was really building this online community. And then COVID hit. And what was really interesting was everyone like zigged and went online, like, right? Like the zigzag, like everyone zigged and went online, and I had zagged, and I was like, I'm going to go in person. And so I actually ended up hosting some different retreats, like transformational retreats and business mastermind retreats. And I just really understood the magic of what happens when we get in the room. Like nothing can replace, even though this is an audio podcast, right? Behind a screen, I'm probably in your earphones, in your earbuds, and you're doing whatever it is that you're doing. And I'm looking here, looking at a screen and a microphone. And, but there's just nothing that can replace the magic of what happens in the room. And for me, I knew that when I come alive, it really is when I am, whether it's in the room or know that I'm called to be a voice and to be a communicator and a facilitator of transformation and growth. And so when we get in the room, like nothing can replace that. And so I actually started to host in-person events. And they started going off like crazy, because I think that so many people, they were so tired of Zoom fatigue and tired of being behind a screen and kind of this inauthentic, like, gosh, where the magic happens in the conversations that happen, in the hallways or, at lunch or at brunch or just just being with humans and being with people. And so as we started to kind of come out of, out of COVID, what I ended up doing was coming out of these retreats, like women were just like, so can we like do these things? Can we get together more? And can we get together on a regular basis? And so I was like, okay, well, what would be a fun name to call this thing, I guess. And it just kind of popped in my head of like Business and Bubbly. And I was like, ooh, that's really fun. So I Googled it and, there was no trademark, and I got the website and I filed for trademark, and, I started the Instagram and all this different stuff. And it actually ended up, within 3 weeks of me starting the Instagram, I nailed down an event, and I just like a fun sip and social networking event. And within 3 weeks, I had 57 women come to this event. And I was like, oh, okay, like this is a thing. Like, and women kept actually asking, so when's the next one? When are we going to get together again? And I was like, I don't know. I have your email, so I'll just find another day and another time and another venue, and I will let you know if we're going to do one next month. And so I found a time and a place in another business where we could, where I could bring 50 women, and another 50 women showed up. And the next month, like another 50 women showed up, and they're like, so can we do this all the time? Like, can you have a membership? And so what was really interesting for me was I fumbled upon doing these events, but I actually really went into it intentionally listening to what the women were wanting. And so for me, I'm actually, I tend to be like this visionary, and I'm like, all right, like this is where we're going and this is what we're doing. And I tend to have to like try and drag people along in the journey of like what they need next, or what's going on next, or here's where we're going next, compared to, and this is what I've done in other businesses, compared to like slowing down and listening to what they actually want and really, really, really asking questions. And so that's kind of where Business and Bubbly started. And it has now evolved into this thriving community of over 100 women that show up on a regular basis to our Sip and Social events. We now have kind of our Get Down to Business group that is a lot more like the Sip and Social events are really fun events and like networking. We do a couple quick little business tips. There's bubbles and really cute cookies. And it really, I help facilitate really great connection in the room. And that becomes a launching pad for women to do business with from there and to make connection with from there. And we also have our Get Down to Business group, which is definitely more like a mastermind, and it is more business focused, business conversation. It's more about scaling. We hear from experts in the room. And so it's really turned into this thriving community of women in business. And it has been so fun to see like women do business with women together. They're supporting each other. I've got women from all over, they're literally, our last event, we had women drive 2.5 hours to come to a Sip and Social. And they're just like, we need this. Like, oh my gosh, like, how do we get this into our area? And how can we do this? And this is just such an amazing community. And so it turned into this really beautiful thing to where women are sharing about it. They're tagging each other. They're inviting other people. And for me, seeing what's going on without even like seeing all the shares, seeing all the invites, seeing all the new people that are coming, seeing the women that are sticking around, right? The lifetime value of customers, like it's this really beautiful thing. And I'm like, okay, like this is a thing. This is special and this is a thing. And so this podcast is kind of the next evolution of that, to really help not only highlight the women that are in Business and Bubbly, but to really provide resources for a lot of the women that are coming around, that are hearing about it, the new chapters that are starting. So side note, if you are wanting to actually learn about Business and Bubbly and have a chapter in your area, head on over to businessandbubbly.com, shoot me a message, or come find me on Instagram, and we can start that conversation. But like I mentioned, it was these not red flags, like these green flags that showed me that this was a thing and that the market was saying yes to this, compared to other things that I've tried to do, or other types of businesses, or other programs or online courses that I've had, where I thought it was a great idea, but eventually the market like told me that they didn't necessarily want it. And that was what was, that's one of the things that if you are listening to this and you're in business, what, like, you can have the best idea in the whole entire world, or you might think it's the best idea, but ultimately the market will tell you whether or not they want your thing or whether or not they're willing to pay for your thing. If you are maybe you're talking to the wrong audience, maybe it's the wrong price point, maybe a copywriting needs to be adjusted to really get the message, get the message across. There's a lot of different things that can be tweaked. But like I said, when I started Business and Bubbly, and it ended up being this thing that took off like wildfire, like authentically. And like I said, I was looking for these things where women were sharing and I didn't even have to ask them. They were inviting and I didn't even have to ask them. They were, tagging and I didn't even have to ask them, like all of this different stuff, like the copywriting that I had learned and the speaking that I had learned in the past. Like it was this beautiful combination of really taking a lot of these skills that I had learned throughout my decade of being an entrepreneur. And I found this sweet spot of really equipping and just facilitating and holding space for women in business. And it took off. And so I was looking for those green flags. And like I mentioned, that this was it. And so I dove in, like I mentioned, I dove in and got the trademark and filed for trademark, and I'm working on scaling it. And it has been such a fun journey. But here's my encouragement for you is that when you find that sweet spot, it's fun. Like, it's not to say that it's not challenging. Like there are good challenges along the way, but man, this is fun. Like I am having a blast. I am utilizing the best parts of me and of who I am and where I come alive as far as being a communicator, being a speaker, like getting women together in the room, helping them grow, helping them expand, helping them level up, helping them make connections. And these are some of my superpowers where I get to bring them all together. And so like when I'm at my best, it helps encourage other people and other women to be their best. And it shows. And what's really fun about it is like I said, it's the green flags. It doesn't feel like I'm pushing a boulder uphill. It doesn't feel like I'm throwing spaghetti on the wall. It doesn't feel like I'm having to drag people along on this idea. Like they get it, they see the vision, and they're in and they drink the Kool-Aid, and it's amazing. And so if you are one of our OG Business and Bubbly girls, like, like leave a review on the podcast, let everyone else know how amazing Business and Bubbly is. But my encouragement for you is, as you're looking at your own business, what are the things that maybe, okay, like they are happening organically, that they're like, it's the things that light you up. You're like, oh yeah, like this is my sweet spot. These are my superpowers. Like this is where I come alive. And where else how then can you outsource the rest? Like the things that maybe don't come naturally to you. Like for me, numbers do not come naturally. And so I have an accountant. Social media has been a learned skill. And so that's something where, like branding, like that stuff has become a learned skill, also because then I taught so many people how to do it. And so that comes easy to me. And I also outsource part of that. And so there's these spaces, like the speaking and the facilitating, like for me, like that's where I come alive and that's where I light up. And so it helps like really raise the energy of the room. And at the same time, it's also a space where other women who they're meant to do that as well, where it's a platform for them to be seen, heard, known, and to belong. And so I was really able to find, okay, like these are the sweet spots. This is how it comes together. This is how it's working. This is why it's working. And these are the things that I don't need to do, or I can outsource, or whatever it might be. So, or these are the things that feel like I'm pushing a boulder uphill and I want to get rid of this thing, right? So how can you kind of take a step back and say, okay, these are the things that are in my wheelhouse. These are the things that I'm good at. This is where the natural momentum and energy is. And then on the other side of that, these are the things that I hate. These are the things that suck the life out of me. These are the things that it feels like I'm pushing a boulder uphill, where it's like, oh, like I have to learn another thing, or I have to do this again today. Like you procrastinate on it, you loathe it, you hate it, and you just don't even want to do it, but you do it for some reason in your business instead of outsource it. or instead of let that aspect of your business go. And so that's my encouragement for you. So in our very first episode in the kickoff is to say, okay, what lights me up? Where is the fun? Because when I'm having fun, like that's when things change. That's when my energy is best. That is when, that's where the magic is. Like when I'm having fun, when I am lit up, like that shows, and people want to be around that, compared to when it's like drudgery. You are a Debbie Downer and what you hate what you're doing. That shows as well, and people don't want to be around that. So what can you do more of that lights you up, and what can you do less of that you want to like poke your eyeballs out? So I want you to make a list of what you're doing in your business that you love and what you're doing in your business that you hate, and see what you can outsource. Now, I'm not saying like that every aspect of what you're doing in your business, it will just be like fairies and unicorn dust, and that you're just going to be like farting sprinkles and it's going to be amazing every day. Like, yes, there will be hard things and there will be challenges and you will be learning new things, but that should be like 10 to 20% of your business at the most. If you aren't working with your ideal clients, like your favorite people, and making money along the way and having fun along the way, like 70 to 80% of the time, then you got to change some things, because the energy of what you're bringing into your business is not the energy of what it needs to grow and to scale. So make your list. See what you can adjust, see who you need to hire on or bring an assistant on, go to Upwork or Fiverr, find some people that you can bring alongside you to make your business fun again, and watch how the energy changes, and watch how you change, watch how you begin to love it more, and then watch how people begin to be attracted to that, and that they want to be a part of what it is that you're doing or what it is that you're building, because your energy is amazing and it's infectious and people just want to be around it, and you're charismatic and people just can't help but catch the vision and catch the energy of what it is that you're doing and where you're going. So that's a little bit of the background and a little bit about where we're going. Like I mentioned, we're starting to open up new chapters of Business and Bubbly, and this podcast is a part of it. And like I mentioned in the intro, if you heard that, you will know that I am obsessed with creating platforms that really help especially women, to be seen, heard, known, to be highlighted. And so this podcast is one of the ways that we do that. Social media is another one of the ways. That the speaking at our events is another one of the ways that we do that. And really just fostering places where women belong, and where they're too much is par for the course. I know for me, I've been told, it's like I could go have a business conversation with a bunch of my mom friends and they're like this is too much. And I'm like, okay, I need to get in the rooms where my too much and talking about business is like par for the course. And so those are the rooms that I created. And so where we're going is I am on a mission to help 100,000 women create $100,000 businesses. So 6 figures of women to create 6-figure businesses. And again, that is a lot of that happens as we are seen as the expert that we are, as we are known for being the expert in our industry. And so many times, we don't have the time or the capacity to either have a platform like a podcast, or it's not in our wheelhouse, or to be able to actually plan a whole blown out event and to create a stage. And so the spaces that I create are really for women like you. If you have a story and you want to share it when it comes to your business, I want to know. If you want to start a chapter because you know that you're called to lead from the front of the room, from the front of the room, then let's chat, because this is an incredible business model. It's an incredible community, and there's incredible support, and chapters are growing, and it's been so much fun. So where we're going, I'm sure that we'll adjust along the way as well. I'm sure eventually I have the goal of, making 7-figure businesses, women to have, there are other really great organizations where they're like, we're on a mission to make 1 million women, like make $1 million. And that's amazing. And I don't have that mission yet. Or if I do, or if I don't, that's okay. Like my mission right now is to raise the collective women earning six figures, because that number is so low, but also to really get rid of the stigma that women are competitive and not supportive of each other, that they're catty and that they want to tear each other down. Like, this is a bigger mission where, like, man, like what you have inside of you, the world needs to know about it. And these are different ways that if we can co-create and co-facilitate in-person events and connections around the world through things like our directory, through things like, we have another, it's kind of like a Facebook group, but it's not on Facebook, and it's called the Squad. It's our online squad. It's free. You can join. All you've got to do is text the word squad to 833-231-8098. I'll text you back the invitation. It's like I said, it's kind of like a Facebook group, but it's on a separate app, and you can join on in the conversation. And every single Monday, the app actually makes connections for you to be able to have like online quick connects and little coffee chats with the other women that you are connected with. So this is really a space to connect women from all over, to collaborate, to find your future business bestie, to really know that you belong and that your crazy ideas, that as you're pursuing them along the way, as you fail forward, as you reach the top, that you are not doing it alone, because we're not meant to. And that's what Business and Bubbly is all about. So welcome to the show. Welcome to the community. I look forward to connecting with you. And if you remember from the intro, one of the other ways that we really highlight women in business is through our directory. And this is a really great place. It's called Find Women in Business, like literally like findwomeninbusiness.com. It's super hard. No, I'm just joking. It's a really great space to have your business highlighted, but also to be able to chat and to connect and to review and to have other women like hire you and hire your business. So say you're a social media manager and you list your business, and all of a sudden other women, as they go on to the directory, they're able to find you, and you've got really awesome reviews from other women, and your website's on there and your social media is on there, and you're able to chat back and forth. It's a really cool directory. So all you've got to do is text the word directory to 833-231-8098. I'll text you back the link where you can join and really get your business highlighted. And so, like I mentioned, I'm just in this, I'm here to really create platforms to highlight you, to highlight women like you, to have the conversations, to be real, to have fun along the way, and to just, yeah. You get the idea. You get the gist. All right, my friend. Well, I'm going to wrap up this very first episode, but make sure that you join us every single week for other really great episodes. I'll be jumping in with what I like to call quick sip tips. So quick, like you're just going to like have a quick little sip, as well as things like bottle service, right? Where it's like can I take you out to lunch? Coffee chats that you have always wanted to have with other people that are doing incredible things, 6, 7, 8, 9-figure earners. They're doing really great things in business. We're bringing strategy, clarity, the confidence, the community, all the things that you're going to need in your journey of the ups and downs of being a woman in business. So thanks again for being here. I am so grateful. We're going to have fun on the show. So make sure you share this out, invite some business besties to join the show, and I will talk to you next time. Thank you so much for listening to the show. I hope it brought some value and some fun into your business and life. Remember to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast, and even share the episode with a fellow business bestie who you know will love it. It helps us continue to attract top-level guests and reach more and more women who are on their journey in business just like you. Remember that when money gets in the hands of good women, great things happen. Cheers to your success.